Assalamu alaikum students, and a very good morning to all of you. Hope all of you are doing well. Kids, welcome again. As you all know, my name is Nida Sahar and I am your social studies teacher. So kids, as you all know that we had started our third chapter, water and power. In my previous lecture, I had discussed the one part of the chapter. Today I am going to discuss the remaining part. Kids, do you remember the points that we had discussed in our previous lecture? What are natural resources? Water cycle? Different sources of water. Today I am going to discuss what is an industrial country, what is power, in which I am going to discuss different forms of power. Number 1, hydroelectricity. Number 2, fossil fuels, atomic power, other forms of power, and raw materials. So let's get started. Okay kids, let's talk about an industrial country. As you all know that Pakistan is an agricultural country. Agriculture means the practice of growing crops or raising animals. Agriculture is an important sector of Pakistan's economy. However, in recent years it has become more industrialized. What does it mean? What is an industrial country? An industrial country produces goods using its own power and natural resources. There are some natural requirements for any country that wants to develop new industries. It must have power, water, and raw materials. It also needs machines and workers. So what is an industrial country? An industrial country produces goods using its own power and natural resources. It must have enough raw material, water, and power. Okay kids, let's talk about hydroelectricity. Hydro means water. So the electricity produced by water is known as hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity is an important source of power generated by the water stored in dams. Kids, do you remember in my previous lecture I have told you that dams are known as multi-purpose projects because they provide a reservoir to store water. They are helpful in irrigation and they are helpful in generating electricity, in producing electricity. So hydroelectricity is electricity made by the generators that are pushed by the movement of water. It is usually made with dams that block a river to make a reservoir or collect water that is pumped there. When the water from these walls or gates is released, as you can see in the background, the pressure behind the dams forces the water down pipes that lead to a turbine. What is a turbine? Turbines are wheel-like machines which move by the movement of water. The power created by the turbines goes to the generator, which changes it into the electrical power. Generator converts one form of energy into the electrical power. So that's how hydroelectricity is produced. Here you can see how it works. Water is released from the reservoir or a dam, flows through a turbine. As you can see over here, the direction of arrows, the movement of water makes the turbine move or spin, which in turn activates the generator to produce electricity. Generator is a device that convert one form of energy into electrical energy. So that's how hydroelectricity is produced, by the movement of water. Now fossil fuels. What are fossil fuels? Fossil fuels are fuels formed by natural resources. These fuels are formed in the earth over millions of years from decayed organisms and produce carbon dioxide when burned. Fossil fuels are found underground. A fossil is the remain of an animal or plant that has been pressed between the rocks for many thousands of years. So once again, what are fossil fuels? They are natural substances made deep within the earth from the remains of ancient plants and animals. A fossil is the remain of an animal or a plant that has been pressed between the rocks for many thousands of years. Over quite some time, the heat turned these into fuels. When it is burned, it releases energy. There are three main types of fossil fuels: oil, natural gas, and coal. How they are formed? Oil is formed from animal and plant remains. As you can see in the picture, remains of plants and animals, when they are being pressed between the rocks or between the layers of the earth for many thousands of years, they form oil. Natural gas is also formed in a similar way to oil and coal. It is found in the form of tiny bubbles without any smell, and it is mostly methane gas, which we use for our daily purposes. Coal is formed from trees and forest. Coal is formed from the remains of plants. How fossil fuels are obtained? Oil and gas are obtained by drilling, and coal is mined. The fossil fuels found in Pakistan are mainly natural gas and coal. There is very little oil in Pakistan. Kids, let's watch an interesting video about the fossil fuels.
Fossil fuel is a term used to describe a group of energy sources that were formed from ancient plants and organisms during the Carboniferous period, approximately 360 to 286 million years ago, even before the age of dinosaurs. At that time, the land was covered with swamps filled with organisms and plants. As they died, they sank to the bottom of swamps and oceans, and over millions of years started decomposing under layers of sand, clay, and other minerals. Different types of fossil fuels formed depending on the combination of organic matter, temperature, time, and pressure conditions while decomposing. There are three major types of fossil fuels: coal, oil, and natural gas. Coal was formed from ferns, plants, and trees, which hardened due to pressure and heat. Oil was formed from small organisms like zooplankton and algae, where pressure caused the more complex organic matter to decompose. Natural gas was formed by the same process as oil, only it was exposed to more heat and pressure, causing it to further decompose and turn into a gaseous form.
Now another kind of power is the nuclear or atomic power. Kids, are you familiar with this word? Nuclear power is the use of nuclear reactions that release nuclear energy to generate heat, which is then used in steam turbines to produce electricity. In simple words, nuclear energy is energy in which some elements like uranium, remember the name uranium, that can be released by nuclear reactions. It produces a massive amount of heat. This energy is made into electricity. Nuclear power stations are expensive to build, and only a few countries in the world have developed this power. There are 2 nuclear stations in Pakistan, in Karachi and in Chashma in the north. So kids, nuclear power is, or nuclear energy is the energy which is released by some elements when they are being put into the nuclear reactor. They produce a massive amount of energy, which in turn on the steam turbines. And you know that what are turbines? Turbines are wheel-like machines which then activates the generator to produce electricity. Clear? Now another kind of power is the solar power. Solar, as the name indicates, the energy from the sun. Energy from the sun is stored in solar panels placed in rooftops or special locations. As you can see, these are the PV panels. Solar power is the conversion of energy from sunlight into electricity by using these panels, these solar panels. It is used to generate electricity. They convert the sun energy, solar energy, into electrical energy. However, this is a very expensive method of producing power. Now the raw materials. What are raw materials? Anything which is in a natural state and is not man-made is a raw material. A raw material is the basic or natural material from which a product is made. Raw materials are materials or substances used in the production or manufacturing of goods. These are the natural materials that are used in manufacturing of goods. Raw materials can be plants or minerals. So what are minerals? Minerals are solid substances that are present in nature. Minerals are found in the earth's crust and in rocks. They are found everywhere in the world. Minerals are of 2 types, metallic and non-metallic. Now see some examples of minerals. Here are some metallic minerals: copper, iron, gold, silver. And here are some non-metallic minerals: marble, salt, and sulfur. So what are minerals? Minerals are solid substances which are found in nature. Okay kids, now you are going to read the chapter from page 48 till 51 thoroughly, and I'm sure after watching this video and after reading the chapter thoroughly you would be able to tell what is an industrial country, why water is important for industry, what kinds of power or energy are used in Pakistan. Can you name some minerals? What are fossil fuels? What is meant by hydroelectricity? So kids, that is all for the today's lecture. I hope everything is well understood. In the next class, I am going to review this chapter and I am going to discuss book exercises with you. Okay kids, I am going to see you in the next class. Till then, all of you stay home, stay safe and study hard. Take care and Allah Hafiz.